Well, hello once again, and thanks for joining me, and a very big thank you to all my subscribers who have now helped to take my total of channel viewers to over the 9,000 subscriber mark. Now, as you can tell, I'm still managing to find more of those classic and Twinshock machines in my archives to share with my viewers, and hopefully it won't be too long before lockdown is lifted and I can then travel to film brand new material for my subscribers. Now, in this next short video we're going to take a look at a couple of hybrid machines that I captured during the 2018 classic racing season, so stick around as we take a look at Daryl Wylie's Twinshock Hondas. Now, this first featured bike of Daryl's is not a fully blown original Honda bike, as it's made up of a combination of parts from other motorcycles. Now, starting with the frame, which is actually a 1972 Husqvarna chassis, which Daryl's father has adapted to take a Honda 250 power plant. Now, Daryl told me that most of the mechanical engineering on his race bikes is usually done by his dad, who apparently is quite handy when it comes to throwing the spanners around the workshop. But this particular bike is raced by Daryl in Scotland with the Scottish Classic Motorcycle Racing Club, and between this bike and his other race machine, both bikes have taken him to a championship win in the pre-1975 class in 2019. Now, the motor is basically a Honda 250 power plant, but this has been bored out to 330cc and has also been fitted with a grass tracker race camshaft, and Daryl also has had a roller rocker conversion done on the top end. Now, the engine is fed its fuel using a 34mm Mikuni carburetor, and other improvements on the motor include electronic ignition and a lightened flywheel. Now, you can see in this shot that the primary drive sprocket guard has been re-engineered, and this was done to let any build-up of mud to escape through the machine, the gaps in the casing, and of course to help remove a few more valuable grams of weight in the process. Now, as you would expect, the Honda motor didn't just slot straight into the Husqvarna frame, and so these nicely engineered alloy mounting plates had to be fabricated to make it all line up and sit perfectly in the chassis. But Daryl says that this Honda motor, despite its upgraded camshaft and other improvements, has still been ultra reliable on the racetrack and has never ever let him down. But with regards to the bike's front suspension, the top and bottom triple clamps have been taken from a Honda Elsinore, and the forks and the bike's front wheel are sourced from a Honda XL 250, which were more or less just a straight bolt-on fixture. But mind you, when you look at the bike from this angle, you'd almost think that the Honda forks were actually custom made for this Husky chassis, as they don't look a bit out of place on this hybrid machine. Now, I'm not entirely sure of the origins of the bike's plastics or even this exhaust system on the bike, but I'll wager that there's a very nice growl from this big bore tailpipe. Now, the bike's rear wheel and hub are again sourced from a different motorcycle, and these have been taken from a Yamaha, which has a push drive system fitted into the hub. And again, along with this alloy chain guide, it seems to fit onto the Husky swing arm without much re-engineering or any other cutting or welding. But this front hub, as I mentioned earlier, is taken from a Honda XL250, as of course were these front forks as well. But in terms of what the bike was actually like to ride, I can personally vouch for that because I've seen Daryl race this machine many times, and he regularly brings this bike across the finish line in the top 2 or 3 in his class. Although looking at the bike, you'd never guess that it wasn't a fully blown Honda machine because everything just seems to fit together perfectly. Now, okay, that was Daryl's first race bike. We'll now move on to his second hybrid racer. Now, this second featured machine of Daryl's is again another hybrid put together by Daryl's father, who appears to just love building these unusual Honda Twinshockers. Now, starting with the bike's chassis. Now, the frame on this bike is an American-made C&J frame, which, as you know, are made in Failbrook in California, and C&J make frame kits for all manner of off-road and other racing motorcycles. But basically C&J will supply you a frame kit to suit whichever make and model of motor that you want to fit into it, but you have to be patient as there is usually a long delay between ordering a chassis and its eventual delivery. But there's certainly no mistaking the quality of these steel C&J chassis, and these are very popular products for riders who want to build one-off special machines. Now, the engine once again on this bike is a Honda 250 motor, which has been bored out to 298cc. Now, it's also fitted with an NRB racing camshaft, which of course replaced the Honda original item. The big bore exhaust and tailpipe are again an American-made Super Trap system, which is manufactured in Cleveland in Ohio. But Daryl told me that his dad actually raced this bike for a few years himself and then sold it, only to then buy it back more than 9 years later. But he says that this bike is very much a work in progress type of machine, as he's constantly changing and upgrading bits and pieces on the bike on a regular basis, so the bike can look very different from season to season. But again, this has been another excellent race bike for Daryl, and in terms of the bike's reliability, has very seldom let him down on a race weekend. Now, a very nice pair of quality rock shocks on Daryl's Honda, which are naturally made here in Bedford in the UK. Now, the RockShox Suspension Company are a very good source of replacement suspension systems for these old classic Twinshockers, and they're very popular with many of the vintage and classic racers. Now, Honda drum brakes, of course, quite a small hub for this bike. I don't expect it would have a huge amount of stopping power, but it's probably quite adequate for an older system. Now, it looks like a brand new sprocket and chain has been fitted to Daryl's machine to make it ready for the start of the new 2018 racing season, which was when these clips were captured at round 1 at Forfar. Now, a standard Honda drum brake on the rear, which again fits quite snugly into the C&J frame's steel swing arm. But both of Daryl's machines make excellent weekend racers, and although they are not original Honda thoroughbreds, they still have the look and, more importantly, the reliability to give him decent results on the track at each and every race event. Okay, we've had a quick browse over both bikes. Now let's just see if we can get Daryl to fire this machine into life. Okay, so there you have it. That's a very quick look at Daryl Wylie's hybrid Hondas. Now hopefully in the coming weeks I'll be able to bring you all some brand new material on my video channel. So until the next time, stay safe until we speak once more, right here on Classic Dirt Bike TV. This video was brought to you in association with WorldSport, the world's #1 supplier for all your off-road and leisure sportswear. Just visit their online website for more information.